What's up, y'all? Bezo803 on that social media, Retail Therapy, the Small Business Network founder. Today, we're talking about retail therapy versus the flea market. Retail therapy versus the flea market. Disclaimer, we are not dissing the flea market. I love the flea market. I love shopping at the flea market. I grew up vending at the flea market. If I had time, I would still be vending at the flea market. If you have a small business and you don't have a customer base, you don't have a brick and mortar, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not vending at the flea market. But generally, a lot of people love to do vendor events and try to use social media, and that's cool. But the flea market is definitely, a place you should utilize if you are a small business. But anyway, let's get into it. Just want to let everybody know this is not a diss to the flea market. We're just trying to show the value that we bring as an organization versus the flea market. Okay, so number one, we limit the amount of vendors we book within the same industry, and we strategically place them away from each other. Now, when you go in the grocery store, bread is on the same aisle, soda's on the same aisle. That's cool. I know a lot of people don't like to be, right next to somebody that's doing the same thing as them. So we make sure we spread everybody apart as much as we can, and we don't book, 20 people doing the same thing. You go to the flea market, they're booking whoever come and pay that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might see 10 people selling phone cases on the same aisle, and generally that's because you got people that they're permanent on that aisle, and then if it's an opening on that aisle and you came up that morning, they're gonna place you wherever the opening is. Sometimes they don't even ask you what you're selling. So that's one thing that we got up on them. They're gonna put you wherever. You don't no telling where they're gonna put you at. Unless you make an issue about it, that's where you're gonna be at. They don't care who's around you, who's next to you. None of that. Number two, we promote our events. Social media marketing, flyers in the community marketing, posters, running ads. We also send out emails to previous shoppers. We got an email list of just the shoppers. We provide, in most cases, a custom flyer for the vendor so you can promote and market. The flea market is kind of word of mouth. A lot of them been around for years. They're not going to spend any marketing dollars on promoting the flea market. It's just not something that you generally see. They kind of know when it's going to be slow. They know when it's going to be busy, and they just kind of roll with it. And, if it's busy, it's busy. If it's slow, it's slow. It is what it is. You're not going to get a lot of promo out of the flea market. They're definitely not going to promote you like we do. We actually promote each individual vendor that they're going to be there. So imagine if we're promoting and you're doing your part promoting. That's double promoting. You're not going to get that from the flea market, guys. Number three, we're always booking new vendors. We're always bouncing around using different locations and venues. And more than likely, most vendors are never placed in the same place, because we use different locations, different venues. I got some vendors, they'll be like, yo, Bezo, can I get that same spot I was in? And if I can make it happen, I'll make it happen. Generally, the flea market, you're battling against permanent vendors. You're battling against people that they're vending for out there for years and years and years. If you got a guy over here been selling sunglasses for 5 years, he's been in the same spot for 5 years, and you come up that morning and get a slot, and they put you 2 slots down from him, who you think everybody going to? Because generally, most flea markets get the same people every week and week out. It's a community. You got people that go to the flea market every Saturday to browse around and shop. And you get to a point, a lot of vendors, they know the people by name. They know their families. So why would they come to you instead of him? And on top of that, man, the flea market vendors themselves are just cutthroat, man. They stick together. The ones that's there all the time, they stick together. They don't just let a newcomer come in and do what they want to do. You're going to have to earn your respect from the vendors all the way down to the customers. So that's 3 reasons, retail therapy is not the flea market, and the flea market is not retail therapy. We want you guys to understand the value that we're bringing, y'all. This is part 1. We got 3 more reasons coming up. Stay tuned, y'all.